Well, I regard Brexit as an act of vandalism by the people of Britain on the European Union and on Britain itself. I think it's self-destructive. I think it's destructive to others, and I'm extremely worried about the consequences of it. I hope that in the forthcoming talks that some of these consequences can be ameliorated, eased, but it's going to be very tough. Well, I think Brexit puts at risk a lot of jobs in Britain as we meet today. I see that 9,000 jobs are already emigrating from the City of London to other European capitals, and there'll be plenty more to come. It may be a short-term gain for some other countries, but in the longer run, the risk is that Britain will try and undercut the European Union standards in important areas. It could be labour standards and workers' rights. It could be environmental standards. But whichever it is, I think the temptation for Britain to go down market is very strong. And it'll be the job of the unions in Europe, the ETUC in particular, to make sure that doesn't happen. Well, my most optimistic one is that there's a high level of maturity shown by the leaders of both Britain and the European Union, and we come to a quick deal on the divorce settlement. We come to a deal, a transitional deal on the on trade, which keeps Britain more or less in the single market. That would be my most optimistic. My most pessimistic is that none of that happens, that there's no agreement on a divorce payment. Because it's a very heavy bill, and to sell that to the British people by anybody would be difficult. And secondly, that we don't get a trade agreement, and that we're not in the single market, we're not in the customs union, and then that Britain is an offshore island, a kind of glorified Guernsey, which would be seeking to undercut some key European standards. And in the longer term, I worry about what that effect would have on the peace of Europe. If relations become acrimonious between a major power like Britain and the European Union, then that's bad news for peace in Europe, because it can encourage others, and we're not so far away in Europe from memories of violent conflicts in a number of parts of the continent. We've been a very bloody continent in our history, and I've always got that in mind, that the European Union was designed to stop that. And I hope that Britain doesn't make that worse.